In late April 2015, it was time to take the second wind back home to Annapolis. So we left Comanche Cove Marina, which had been very good to us, and motored out to St. Augustine Inlet and into the Atlantic. It was nice to finally be able to sail in the ocean after so much of our trip in the fall was under motor power. This time we had Alicia, who was brave enough to do the ocean portions with us. Mike threw out a fishing line that we forgot about after a while. Then we heard a noise on the boat that we'd never heard before. We finally figured out we had a fish on, and he had taken a ton of line out. Mike finally reeled in a good-looking skipjack tuna. Mike filleted it, Alicia cooked it up, and I ate it. It was really good. We sailed through the night, and by the next afternoon we were well into Georgia when the seas started to get a bit uncomfortable. The forecast showed that it was not going to let up, so we headed for St. Catherine's Inlet, about 50 miles south of Savannah, for a nice protected anchorage and a good night's sleep. The next morning, we continued up the Intercoastal Waterway towards Savannah in a heavy rain. The rain didn't last long, and soon we approached Thunderbolt Marina. This is a huge facility catering to boats of all sizes, including some of the largest mega yachts we'd ever seen. This is where Mike and I originally had the second wind surveyed, and ultimately pulled away as catamaran owners for the first time. We continued just a little ways up the river to Bahia Blue Marina, which was in walking distance to a couple marine and electronics supply shops. We'd found that our VHF radio wasn't working well, and that most of the antenna had been broken off on top of the mast. We suspect over the winter by one of those big pelicans back at the marina in St. Augustine. Once tied up at the marina, we sent Mike up the stick to have a look. Then we walked up the road, bought a new antenna, and borrowed some tools to do the repair. After that, we had plenty of time to take a cab to the waterfront in downtown Savannah and have some dinner. We got underway early the next morning so that we can make the first bridge opening before the rush hour restrictions. Then we turned down the Savannah River and back out into the Atlantic. We sailed through the night and made it well into South Carolina. Our target destination was Southport, North Carolina, just inside the mouth of the Cape Fear River. But the next morning, we heard a weather report that included damaging winds and golf ball-sized hail, and we decided to head inland towards Georgetown, South Carolina. We spent the night in this little piece of water just off the ICW near Bucksport, South Carolina, in the middle of some wildlife preserve. This little creek was barely wide enough for our boat to swing on our anchor line, and there didn't seem to be anyone or anything for miles around. We picked up Karen and Sue and a bunch of supplies for the week ahead at the marina at the Grande Dunes Resort on the south side of Myrtle Beach. The rest of the trip would be on the inside on the Intercoastal Waterway, as Karen and Sue weren't up for any ocean-going adventures. This is also where we said goodbye to Alicia, who had to get back to family and work. We motored the rest of the day up to Southport, North Carolina, on one of the most scenic stretches of the ICW that we had encountered, lined with marinas, houses, beaches, and lots of recreational boating traffic. We spent the night at the Southport Marina, where we could walk into town, have a nice dinner on the water, and have drinks at the Fishy Fishy Cafe, one of the local establishments featured in the movie Safe Haven, filmed on location in Southport. We dropped Mike off in Wrightsville Beach near Wilmington, North Carolina, where I had left my car the previous week. He would meet us back in Coinjock, near the Outer Banks of North Carolina, in a few days. So with just me, Karen, and Sue left on board, Sue was getting comfortable at the helm. Where are we going, Sue? We tied up for a night at the Dudley Marina. We spent the next night in Oriental, which was the sailing capital of North Carolina. Then we motored through the Pungo River Canal and spent the night anchored in the Alligator River. Then went across the Albemarle Sound. All the while, the water was glassy calm, which suited Karen and Sue just fine. We dropped off Karen and Sue and picked up Mike in Coinjock and headed up towards Virginia, where the ICW starts at mile 0. We motored through the industrial areas of Portsmouth and Norfolk, where we saw a surprising number of dolphin. We motored by Battleship Row and out into the Chesapeake, and from there it was an easy 24 hours to Annapolis. Check back soon for some more cruising videos of the Chesapeake, and maybe in 2016 we'll make it to Rhode Island and some of the surrounding areas of the Northeast.